number is real. There are lots of people I know in the industry who are pulling down that kind of money every single year, year after year. It's a real number, and it's really possible. Anywhere in our country with a barber or cosmetology license, you can do that. Now, I know some folks who've taken a 1 down, put a 2 up there, and have that number up there. And I also know some folks in our industry who, instead of that number at the beginning, they've put a comma and they've added 1 more digit, 1 more play. And I'm talking serving clients behind the chair. 7-figure professionals in our industry are not completely unheard of. It's possible. And what I want to tell you about is it's so exciting right now. You know, it is 2024. We are 4 years into this decade. Hard to believe we're 25% of the way through this century. Wrap your head around that for just a minute. Feels like the 80s were a couple of years ago, at least for me. But anyways, here's the deal. 2040, which is 20 years from now, minus the first 4 of this decade. 2040, when we get there and we turn around and we look back and we ask ourselves, how did we get here? Because, you know, we like to look at decades and time frames and things like that and ask ourselves as people, how did things happen? How did this go? What exactly took place? In 2040, when we turn around and look back at the beauty and barber industry, we are going to acknowledge that the previous 20 years, from 2020 to 2040, we're 4 years in, 16 to go. The 20-year period from 2020 to 2040 is going to be recognized as the golden age of the beauty and barber business in the United States of America. More people making more money on more services from more clients than at any time in the history of our business. It's an amazing time to be in our industry right now. And you know what? These 2 decades, these 20 years, they're yours. They're not mine. They're yours. I've been in the business 38 years. And if you look at my Instagram, you know, that's my name right there. That's my Instagram. You put a .com on it. That's my website. But if you look at my Instagram, you will see there are more pictures on my Instagram of me holding up a largemouth bass than there are pictures of me holding up a scissor or a clipper, because I'm at that point in my career. But the next 20 years belong to you. Belong to newer, younger people entering into our industry, charting their path in our industry, understanding how they want to make money, figuring out where they're going to make money, and making this industry theirs. If you look out your window, I don't know if you're home watching this webinar or if you're in the shop watching the webinar, but if you look out the window and you notice in front of your shop or your salon in the United States of America, the streets are paved in gold. There is so much money out there. And it's your opportunity to get your chunk. Don't ever complain you don't have enough money. Don't ever complain you're not making enough money. The money is out there and it's flowing. You got to get yours. And that's what I want to talk about during this webinar, is helping you get your chunk of that money. So the tradition as it relates to the $100,000 haircutter book is we start our programming with a reading. Now, the way this book works is it's a daily devotional. You're going to keep it on your night table next to your bed. You're going to wake up in the morning, and you're going to open the book and you're going to turn to today and you're going to read today. Before you put on your gym shoes, before you take your medicine, before you brush your teeth, you're going to read today. This book is basically me giving you just a little kick every single morning. Sales, advertising, marketing, promotion, hiring, training, business building, retailing, technical haircutting. It's all in here. 365 days. And in the back of the book, there's an extra 7 days. There's an extra week, 53rd week of the year, plus 2 more chapters of monthly focused topics. Now, part of my tradition is I don't read ahead. I didn't peek. I know that today is the 29th. So I'm just going to turn to October 29th and I'm going to read October 29th just randomly. It's like educational webinar presentation without a net. I don't know what we're going to get. But since I know I wrote the book, we're going to get something good. Here we go, October 29, that is day 302 of the year with 63 days remaining in the year. I'm a number junkie. I tell you where we are, I tell you where we're going, I tell you what we got left. Tracking, important. October 29, day 302. And if you take a look, you'll notice I'm not asking you to read big fat chapters. I'm asking you to read a paragraph. I'm not asking you to read a whole lot to get your day started. I write like we think, in sound bites and little pieces. October 29, day 302. Hold this. Hold this. That's the tip of the day. When suggesting and recommending take-home hair care product, it is important to hand the product to the client. Do not hand them your station top bottle. Hand them a fresh new one from the sales shelf. Possession leads to connection, which leads to purchase. And there's another couple sentences there, but handing people product, physically putting product in their hand. So very, very important. Possession is key to purchase. And there's a whole lot more we can talk about with regards to that idea. But the idea of handing product to people, in sales, originally it was called the puppy dog close. Gets its name from that technique where the lady down the street has a garage, a box full of puppies. And you're looking in the box, you're like, oh, they look so cute. I think I want one. And what does the lady say? She says, go ahead, pick one up. If you pick up that puppy, you fall in love with that puppy. There's no way you're putting it back in the box. It's an old selling technique. Works the same way with a bottle of hair care product. So that was our tip. Now, the other half of this little game we play, we read today, we read one more day. So I need a member of the audience, I need a member of the community in the chat box right now to offer up any day of the year, your favorite day of the year, your birthday, your anniversary. Pick a day right now, really quick, throw it up in the chat, and we will read that day. We get a little audience participation for reading number 2. So April 5th, is that Selena? Selena says April 5. We're going to go to April 5. We're going to read April 5. Thank you for your participation, Serena. We go to April 5. April 5, day 95 of the year with 270 days remaining in the year. April 5, go short. I love this tip. One of my favorites. Not everybody listening is going to be really happy about this one. Go short. You are a hair professional. People look to you as an example and inspiration of hair, grooming, and style. Lead by example by cutting your hair short. I'm not going to read the whole thing. That's the beginning of the paragraph. But the bottom line is this. Short hair is the secret to making money in our business. Short hair takes less time in the chair. Short hair comes back faster. Short hair sends more referrals. Short hair uses more take-home hair care product. Short hair buys more chemical services more frequently. There's a whole list of reasons why short hair is the secret to making money in our business. So the tip is go short. Lead by example. People will follow you where you go. And that applies to anything we suggest and sell in the beauty and barber business. So that's a couple readings from $100,000 Hair Cutter. The book is available online at my website. It's available on Amazon. It's available paper, digital, and audio. If you want the book, you can go get the book, and I'll give you a coupon code later on near the end of the program so you can save a couple of bucks as a thank you for being a part of our webinar here with Elite Beauty Society. So that's the book. That gets us started. Now, we talked about Q4. We talked about the year being back-end loaded. And what's so important about this back-end load, 2 things. Thing number 1 is you got an opportunity to make a whole lot of money in these 3 months, these last 2 months especially, if you're game on. If you got your eyes and your ears open, you got your antennas up, and you're prepared to play hard, you can make crazy money in the next 8 weeks. November starts on Friday. You can make huge money in the next 8 weeks. The second piece of the importance of this 4th quarter load is, in addition to being 4th quarter loaded, our industry sometimes has a 1st quarter slump. That's right. January and February can sometimes be quiet. I live in Chicago. We know it's going to be cold. We know there's going to be snow. Now, if you're listening to me from Southern California, Phoenix, Arizona, or anywhere in the great state of Florida, you may be coming into your busy season as snowbirds migrate south and start. Texas was here and start to do business with you. So your year may be flip-flopped, but in the northern half of the country, there can be a January, February slump. And that slump can even exist in the South if people are spent from the holidays. They got no money, cash is tight, they don't have a lot of money to spend, and they were all just in the salon in November and December. So the 4th quarter bump can lead to a 1st quarter slump. So what we want to do is we want to be proactive. We want to do the things we need to do in the 4th quarter to not only maximize the money we make in the 4th quarter, but to insulate ourselves against that 1st quarter slump. So not only do we end this year strong, but we start next year with a full tank of gas, burning fuel. Does that make sense? Is everybody with me? Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about 3 tactics. Now, I am stealing my program from me because I've been sharing and teaching a lot of this stuff for a very long time. So what I'm doing is I'm borrowing from a program I used to share called Cut Hair Like a Pirate. Now, if we're going to be a pirate, we need props. I got a pirate hat. And what does every pirate have? Every pirate has a parrot on his shoulder, right? Of course. I mean, come on. I got a hat. I got a Parrot. Now I'm going to take the hat off because it's hot under the lights I have here. But the program is called Barber Like a Pirate because I want somebody to tell me in chat right now, what does a pirate say? You know, I think on the calendar there is actually a day annually that is designated as Talk Like a Pirate Day. What does a pirate say? R. Now they usually spell it A-R-R-R-R-R, but it's R. A pirate says R. And I used to call this program Cut Hair Like a Pirate because truth of the matter is, if you want to be successful behind the chair in our business, everything you need to know and everything you need to do actually starts with R. Are you ready? From now on, the answer to every question I ask is R. So if I ask you a question, when you go to the chat box, first you got to type in R, then you can type the answer to the question. But since we're talking like pirates and we're playing like a pirate, the answer is R. And the first R we're going to take a look at is rebooking. R, rebooking. Rebooking is, and we're going to talk about rebooking, and I'm going to write rebooking in green. And there's a reason why I'm going to use green. By the way, we got a couple of rules. Anytime Ivan picks up a marker, here are the two rules. Anytime Ivan picks up a marker, there's probably going to be a misspelling. That's rule number one. And rule number two is when there is a misspelling, it doesn't do anybody any good for you to point it out. I'm not interested in whether or not I can spell properly. I am interested in effective communication. And if you know what I mean, you don't care how I spelled it. That's my little liability release. But we wrote rebooking in green. And the reason we use green is because we're talking money here. Rebooking, it's an art. It's a skill. Anyone can develop it. Anyone can master it. But what I will tell you about the skill of rebooking is, it is the single most important non-technical skill that can ever be developed by a beauty and barber professional. I will also tell you that if you are an effective rebooker, if you learn how to do this, if you practice this, and if you get good at this, if you can rebook effectively, you don't really need to be very good at cutting hair. That's right, I said it. If you're good at rebooking, you don't need to be very good at cutting hair. Rebooking is your insurance policy. Elite Beauty Society is the provider of one of the greatest values in liability insurance in the industry. They're all about insurance. And I'm telling you right now, rebooking is a form of insurance. Rebooking is about guaranteeing your future income. It is about getting a solid appointment from the customer on the book today for the future before they leave the building. So I want to tie it into Q4. We've got all this business in the holiday season. We've got all this business in Q4. Get them on the book for Q1 before they leave the building. Get them on the book for Q1. Now, it's not enough for me to tell you that you have to do it. I want to tell you how to do it because you need to know how to do it. What to do? Rebook. How to rebook? Let's go. It's two simple sentences, and you only need one or the other. You're going to need both of them throughout your career, but you only need one of them at a time. There are two sentences you need for rebooking. We're going to divide all of our listeners into one group or another. You have to decide which group you belong in. You pick which group you're in, because that's the sentence you're going to need right now. Here are our two groups. Group number one is everybody here on the webinar who is fully booked and busy, who has no space in their appointment book. They're busy, they're jammed, they're full. Group number two is everybody else who's not full yet. If you're in the full group, congratulations. You worked hard, you're there. If you're not in the full group, you're going to get there. You're just not there yet. So I'm going to speak to these two groups separately. If you are full, here's how you rebook. You need to know one sentence, and you need to say this to every single customer who sits in your chair. It's what we call 100% compliance. Every client, every haircut, every visit, every time, starting tomorrow until forever. There are no exceptions to this. Listen carefully, write this down in your notes. If you are fully booked and busy, you look at a client, look them right in the eye, and you say, I am fully booked and busy. If you don't make the appointment today, you're not getting in. That's it. You don't need to say anything else. I am fully booked and busy. If you don't make the appointment today, you're not getting in. Most clients, if you are fully booked and busy, they know you're fully booked and busy. They know it was tough to get an appointment this time unless they booked ahead at their last appointment. And if they did that, they already have the habit and they're already doing it. But if they didn't, it was hard to get in with you. They know it's going to be harder next time because you are good, you are busy, you are in demand, and you are building. You probably can't build anymore. You're so full, but you can build. I am fully booked and busy. If you don't make the appointment today, you're not getting in. That's it. We're done. We're going to rebook those folks. Now, if you're in the other group, if you're not fully booked and busy, don't ever tell anybody you're fully booked and busy. We're not going to lie to anybody. We're going to be honest. We're going to be truthful. If you're not fully booked and busy, you have a different sentence. And it sounds like this. If you're not fully booked and busy, you look them in the eye and you say, Mrs. Smith, because clients like you are sending their friends, I'm getting busier every week. In order to get the time you want, it would be best if we set up your appointment today before you leave. Think about this one for a minute. Because clients like you are sending their friends, I'm getting busier every week. That is a not so subtle reminder about the client's obligation and responsibility to send referrals. In order to get you the time you want, I'm going to make the appointment today before you leave. Those are your two options. Those are your two conversations to have with people. You're either fully booked and busy and they know they need to rebook, or you're getting fully booked and busy and you're telling them what you need them to do. The last thing we want to do with this is what's called steering. You don't ever say, when do you want to come in? You tell people when they want to come in. Mrs. Smith, we took the top of your hair a little bit shorter today in order to give you the height and fullness that you wanted. Now that's going to get long and it's going to get heavy. And in about 5 weeks, you won't be able to do your hair anymore. So you really should set up your appointment for 5 weeks from today. Today is the 29th. So we're looking at December 8th. I know you like Thursdays in the morning. How's 10:30? Did you hear what went on right there? I didn't say, when do you want to come in? I told her when to come in. I told her why to come in. I directed her specifically to a day and a time. Now that client can say, no, that's not a good day for me. I need to come in the week before. Or no, I got to come in later that day. They can say whatever they want, and you're going to take them to where they need to go. But you're going to park them on the calendar where you want them. This is managing and controlling your business and your book. Does this make sense? Are you with me on this? If you're digging it, give me a thumbs up in the chat, or I know that these websites have the ability for you to do reactions and things like that. I just don't know how to do them. I got a heart and I got a thumb. That means you're with me. Excellent. I feel good about that. So, rebooking. Every customer, every haircut, every visit, every time, starting tomorrow until forever. 2 sentences, one or the other, depending on which group you are a part of. This is about ensuring your future. Now, while the shop is busy, you do this like crazy. You never skip this. And part of it is, if you fill your book, you're not going to have opportunities to pick up clients you don't want. You're going to keep the clients you want and have. Here's the deal. Here's the expectation. You offer rebooking to 100% of your customers. Don't expect them all to do it. They're not gonna. There are people who legitimately cannot rebook. I just don't know. The kids' school's changing. There's a new semester. The soccer is starting. I don't know when the practices are going to be. I'm going to call you. And then they're going to call you. There are some people who legitimately cannot rebook because they don't know their availability. They're being honest. They don't know. They can't rebook. There are other people who are what are known as liars. These are people that say to you, oh, yeah, I'll call you. And then they don't. Now, what's important to understand here is this is powerful. And this is important. And I do see Shika, if I'm pronouncing that right, ask, could I repeat the sentences? Give me a minute and I'll do it in just a second. I see you there and I hear you and I will get you. What's important to recognize here is customer satisfaction is hard to pin down. Customer satisfaction is like a fuzzy, warm and funny kind of thing, hard to pin down. Are my customers satisfied? I think they are. I'm not sure. I don't know. We can do surveys. We can ask. But at the end of the day, I like things I can measure. I like numbers. I like math, measurement. The best tool we have currently for measuring customer satisfaction in the beauty and barber business is your rebook rate. Remember I said we're going to offer rebooking to 100% of our customers, and we're going to expect that 80% of our customers will rebook. 8 out of 10 will, yeah, I want to do that, and they will make an appointment. 2 out of 10 legitimately won't rebook. Some of them don't know, and some of them are liars. We don't know which is which because we can't tell by looking at them. But 80% rebooking is the goal. If you are currently running an 80% or better rebook rate, you have an extraordinarily high level of customer satisfaction. Because the bottom line is, if customers are satisfied, if they're overwhelmingly thrilled with you, with the technical service, with the customer service experience, with everything about your location, your environment, the music you play on the radio, the flavors of coffee creamer you have on the coffee bar, the products you offer. If people are thrilled, they will rebook. And if people are not thrilled, they won't. Whether they're going to call you later, or whether they're going to say they're going to call you later and never call you, or if they have the guts to look you in the eye and say, no, I'm not coming back. Your rebook rate as a percentage, offer rebooking to 100% of your customers, measure what percentage actually rebook. That's your rebook rate. 80% or higher, overwhelming customer satisfaction. Under 80%, you probably have some work to do. You probably need to take a look at your business, and then maybe it's time for a client survey. Then maybe it's time to figure out where and how can I do better. All right, Shika's question. Could you please repeat the phrase for not fully booked? Not fully booked. Here we go. Mrs. Smith, because customers like you are sending their friends, I'm getting busier every week. In order to get the time that you want, let's make your appointment today before you leave. Hope that helps you. You got any further questions? We got Q&A on the back end of the program. I also want to mention ivanzoot.com. When you go to my website, there's a red button on every page. It says Talk to Ivan. If you click on the button that says Talk to Ivan, a new page pops open where you have an opportunity to put in your name, your email address, and your question. You hit submit. You're emailing me, sending it directly to me. I don't have people that answer emails for me. You're talking directly to me. I try to answer every question within 24 hours. And I will tell you, everything I'm sharing today and everything I pretty much share all the time already exists on my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, put in my name, or go to my website and use the link to find my YouTube. Many times the answer to your question will be, thank you for your question. Click the link below and watch the video. I've tried to capture all the videos as FAQs, frequently asked questions, in the form of videos. And there's a pretty good chance if you ask a question and I don't have a video, I'm going to make a video because it's easier for me to make a video than it is for me to type. Remember the thing about spelling? Yeah, well, that's kind of my problem. So it's much easier for me to do this, to open my mouth and start barfing out great information. So rebooking, R as a pirate, that's number one. Ready for number two? Are we ready to move on? Throw me a thumb or a heart or a smiley face. I saw somebody crying at one point. I think they were laughing and crying. I hope that's why they were what they were doing. But we're ready to move on. I got a thumb. There we go. I feel good. Now, next up, R. We kind of talked about this a little bit already. We hinted at it. We alluded to it. R is referrals. Asking for referrals. Once again, this is a 100% compliance activity. Every customer, every haircut, every visit, every time, starting tomorrow until forever. Now, no matter who you are in the business, no matter what your chair looks like, you need to do this every customer, every haircut, every visit, every time, starting tomorrow until forever. Like a broken freaking record, you need to be that diligent with it. Nothing ever has built business in the beauty and barber business better than this. Nothing ever has been less expensive than this. Nothing has ever worked as well as this, and nothing ever will. Every customer who sits in your chair, 3 sentences. Same sentences, no matter who you are in the business. And I did this when I worked in a shop up until I stopped working in the shop. I'm going to go back to working in a shop pretty soon because, quite frankly, I miss it. But the people that worked with me laughed at me. I would hear me with my 3 sentences, and they would laugh at me. I worked 3 days a week, and I earned more money than 3 people in the shop who worked full-time combined, because this works. Are you ready? When you're done, when you're finished, finish their hair, take them up front, ring them up, take their money, give them their change, sell them their take-home hair care product, accept your generous gratuity, look them in the eye, and say the next 3 sentences. Sentence number 1, thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. Thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. Thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. Look them in the eye, call them by name. Bob, thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. That's 1 sentence, that's it. Can you say that to someone? Say it to the person sitting next to you. If you're home alone, say it to the cat. Hold up your hand like it's somebody else and say it to your hand. Practice. Thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. Can you say that to another human? You probably can. It's not that complicated. It's not that tough. Sentence number 2, we're going to start over from the top. We're going to build sentence number 1 and sentence number 2 together. Listen carefully. Thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. I appreciate your business. Bob, thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. I appreciate your business. 4 little words. I, me, it's personal. Appreciate, an attitude of gratitude. You, it's personal business. I'm running a business. This is not, it's not a game. It's not a sport. It's not a hobby. It's not a lifestyle. It's not an art form. Hair cutting is a business. Thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. I appreciate your business. You are giving me your business. You could give your money to somebody else, but you chose to give it to me. 3 sentences, starting over from the top. We have 1 and we have 2, and now we add 3. Third sentence. Bob, thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. I appreciate your business. If I gave you 2 cards, would you send me 2 friends? If I gave you 2 cards, would you send me 2 friends? Very simple sentence. Notice the pause. If I gave you 2 cards, would you send me 2 friends? That big fat pause, that slowing of my pacing, that focusing of the customer's attention sends a message about how important this is to me. Thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. I appreciate your business. If I gave you 2 cards, would you send me 2 friends? We're back end loaded. These 3 months, October, November, December, holiday season, more people in our chair than we've ever had at any other time of the year. More opportunities for more people to send more people. There's no better time to be asking for referrals. Just like rebooking, we're looking to load January and February. We're looking to have a solid and successful holiday season, and we're looking to set ourselves up for the most successful next year. Now, here's the deal. Some interesting things are going to happen if you do this. Number 1, customers are going to see a pattern in your behavior. I've had customers say to me as I start, Bob, thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. I've had customers interrupt me and say, yeah, 2 cards, 2 sentences, I know. And I still finish, and I still give them 2 cards. I don't care how long you've been cutting them. I don't care if their last name is the same last name as your last name or they live in your house. Every customer, every haircut, every visit, every time, no exceptions. Thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. I appreciate your business. If I gave you 2 cards, would you send me 2 friends? How long did that take? 8 seconds, maybe? These 8 seconds can turn your life into a pile of gold. Now, I've heard some funny things when I do this. I've had customers say to me, Bob, thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. I appreciate your business. If I give you 2 cards, would you send me 2 friends? I had a customer look me in the eye and say, Ivan, come on. All my friends are dead. I was an older man. And my response was, you got to get new friends. Do you do your job? Do you know anybody who does? Raise your hand. Give me a thumbs up, a smiley face, or a comment in the comments. Raise your hand if you know someone who doesn't do their job. It's a pretty good chance you do. There are people who don't do their job. Your job is to do your job. Your job is not to do their job. Their job is to do their job. Think about your customers. Do you have a customer who sends referrals constantly? We call this customer a bird dog. It's like a good hunting dog. Every time you send that dog out, that dog comes back with a rabbit in its mouth. They're constantly bringing fresh meat and dropping it off on the porch. That's a good client and a client you want to take care of. That's a bird dog client. Does anybody have a client who's never sent them anyone ever? You've cut them for years and they've never sent you a customer. And this person might even be your mother. They might even live in your house. You got to be careful about who you share your hopes and dreams and goals and aspirations with, because when you think big and dream big, there are people who will roll up their sleeves to help you achieve your goals. And there are also other people who will get busy trying to hold you back and hold you down. You need to be careful who's on your team and who's not on your team. When you ask for referrals, you know what you might hear? Has anybody ever heard this? Has anybody ever had a customer say to them, hey, Jennifer, thank you for the opportunity to cut your hair. I appreciate your business. If I gave you 2 cards, would you send me 2 friends? And has anybody ever had Jennifer say to you, no, are you kidding me? It's so hard to get an appointment with you now. If I send my friends, I'm never going to be able to get an appointment with you. Have you ever heard that before? Has anybody ever said that to you? Yeah, it can happen. People can say things like that. But more importantly, what do you say in response? When a customer says that to you, what do you say? Do you know what I say? You look them in the eye and you say, Jennifer, thank you so much for being honest with me. Hey, listen, today's an important day because it's the last time I'm ever cutting your hair. please don't ever make an appointment with me again. If somebody's going to be honest and tell you that they have no interest in helping you be successful, they have no interest in seeing you grow, they don't want you buying new shoes, they don't want you sending your kids to summer camp, they don't want you buying a new F-150, and they don't want you going on a cruise. If they're going to look you in the eye and tell you that they are not interested in supporting your success, make sure you hear them loud and clear, because sometimes it's time to cut bait. Sometimes it's time to find somebody else to sit in your chair who's pulling the wagon up the hill with you. The last thing you want is somebody behind you throwing rocks in the wagon, making it harder and harder for you to get up the hill. Rebooking and referrals. Two of the three R's that we wanted to focus on in our program today. We got enough time for the third one. Pretty quick. We're going to run through it so that we can set ourselves up for Q&A and finish strong. Ivan, question here says, Ivan, you still say these three sentences in all circumstances, even if you're fully booked. Yes, Patrick, here's the deal. Business building is extremely important if you're brand new in the industry. If you got nobody in your appointment book and nobody in your chair, you need new customers. If you're half booked and you're growing your business, you need new customers. But if you're fully booked and you've been in the game a while, well, number one, you're getting a little tired of some of these people. Number two, if you're fully booked, it's time to raise your prices. And one of the goals of a price increase is to lose customers. You heard that correctly. I am one of the only educators in the beauty and barber business that wants to help people lose customers. You got to get rid of the bottom feeders. You got to get rid of the people who don't respect you by showing up on time. You got to get rid of the people that don't send their friends. You got to get rid of the people that don't buy take-home hair care product. You got to get rid of the people that don't buy add-on services to make room for more top quality customers. Birds of a feather flock together. Your better customers have better friends. And quite frankly, your dirt bags, their friends, well, they're probably dirt bags too. So you want to be moving onward and upward. And yes, this new customer solicitation and the requesting of referrals is even very important if you're the guy or the girl, if you're the professional who is fully booked. Because I guarantee you, I'm not going to ask you to post a name in the chat right now, but if you got a customer you'd like to get rid of, if you got a customer that just needs to sit in somebody else's chair, if you're fully booked and busy, you could probably come up with more than a few. And you probably got a few customers that you just love serving who have friends that you would probably love just as much. So that would be my answer to that one. The third R, back to the pirate hat, back to haircut like a pirate, is retailing. Rebooking, referrals, R, retailing. The use, suggestion, recommendation, and transaction of professional take-home hair care product. And the answer is, and we could do a whole program. If Elite Beauty Society wants to invite me back, I would love to do an entire program. Tips, tricks, and skills for the use, suggestion, recommendation, and transaction of professional take-home hair care product. The couple comments I'll make in this category are, stock up. Get with your distributor now and make sure you have the products you need. Use the products and tell people to buy. Tell them what it is, what it does, why you're choosing it for them, and how to use it. And go through that speech. Know that information. It comes right off the labels of the products that you use and recommend. And I want to give you an incentive. If you're not a big retailer right now, retailing might scare you. It might seem daunting. You know, these manufacturers come out with $1,000 intro kits. You don't need that. You need one product, and you need to buy 7 of them. A couple of products that I offer on my website, I offer a buy 6, get 1 free. And the idea is you have 1 to use and 6 to sell. 1 for you to use at your station, 6 to sell. You can get into the process and the business of selling product for under $100 from any manufacturer. Gel, shampoo. Find an item that is suitable to the widest range of your customers. If you're a heavy-duty hair color professional, it's easy. Get a shampoo for color-treated hair. Buy 6 of them. Use 1 on your clients when you serve them and send 6 customers home with a bottle. Now, the money you make, we double our money. If you buy for 5, you sell for 10. If you buy for 10, you sell for 20. You buy 6 bottles of shampoo for $10 a piece, that's $60. You sell them for 20, that's 120. $60 goes in one pocket, that's yours to keep. $60 goes back to the distributor to buy 6 more. And you repeat. Have you ever watched one of those HGTV shows where they're flipping houses? Yeah, we don't do that. You know what we flip? We flip soap. We flip gel. We flip hairspray. You buy for 5, you sell for 10, you double your money, you buy more, you do it again. These are your dollars. The Walton family that owns Walmart doesn't need this money. Jeff Bezos doesn't need another rocket ship. You know, if we go to your booking app and we look at your top 10 customers and we go to their houses and we look in their bathrooms, I'll bet you a donut. Your top 10 customers, every one of them has hair care product in the bathroom. I bet they do. I'll also bet that if we look at the products, 9 out of 10 of the bottles that 9 out of 10 of your customers have in 9 out of 10 of their bathrooms, they didn't buy them from you. They bought them from somebody else. And that's your money. Those are your dollars. Take your money. People want to give you money. I wake up every morning believing that people want to give me their money. And based on that, I act based on that. I ask people to give me their money. And fortunately, from time to time, they give me their money. I want to wrap things up here with one other mention, my other book, Ivan Says. Now remember, the mentoring offer, we're going to give away a couple of these half-hour mentoring sessions. I want to help you build and grow your business, whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about new customers, you want to talk about business building, you want to talk about price increases, you want to talk about a retailing program, you want to talk about hiring and firing, you want to talk about renting a suite, going out on your own, you want to talk about building a bigger salon. I got 38 years of helping people in this business. My most recent book is called Ivan Says. And where this book, remember, was paragraphs, this book is sentences. 506 golden nuggets of wisdom, individual sentences, mic drop moments, diamond gems about our business. So here's the way we play the game. Go to the chat box right now. Give me a number between 1 and 506. Any number between 1 and 506. And I'm going to read one of them from the book just to give you a taste of how it works. Okay, Selena said 700. I said between 1 and 506. But Selena's been engaged and participating in the program. So what I'm going to do is, she said 7. All right, maybe it was a typo. I was going to go to 70, but instead we'll go to 7. Because I saw you made the correction. And Anu said 55 and April said 111. So we're going to read 3 real fast before we go to Q&A. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. You gave us your time for the program this morning. I want to give you solid value for your time, and I want to get you back to work because now you have work to do because we set the tone. Here we go. Number 7 on the list. Ivan Says, this one's a technical tip related to barbering and short hair cutting. Ivan says, if you do not put the line in, you do not have to take the line out. That could be a whole webinar on tapering, fading, putting those lines in and take it. If you don't put the line in, you don't got to take the line out. Anu said 55. Let's move over to 55. And any one of these could be a whole podcast or a whole webinar or a whole video or a whole class, but we treat them as those punchy mic drops. 55. We talked about this. Ivan said, know your rate of occupancy. Haircuts done divided by total haircut capacity. How many can you cut? Well, I can do 2 an hour, 8 hours a day. That's 16 a day. How many did you do? I did 8. 8 out of 16, 50% occupied. Know how to calculate your rate of occupancy. And by the way, rate of occupancy, that's just another R from the Pirates. 111, April says 111. Then we're going to go to Q&A. We're going to wrap things up. 111. There you go. For those of you that are employers or for those of you that are employees, I'm a big believer in this one. 111, Ivan says, hire slow and fire fast. Hire slow and fire fast. When it comes to making decisions about adding members to your team, take your time, hire slow. But when you know you got a bad apple in the bin, fire fast. One sick fish can kill the whole tank. One bad apple can rot the whole bushel. All right, guys, I'm going to invite our team members from Elite back up here as necessary. We're going to go to the Q&A portion here. We got a little bit of time left to do that. So, Kristen, let's play. What do you got?
Beautiful. Well, just as you sent it over to me, I believe Shika just sent a question in, so we can start with that one. She says, I'm afraid if I tell my client that doesn't want to bring referrals because it's, quote, already hard to get in, that I don't want to see them again. I'm scared that they'll leave a negative review of their experience online. What's your response?
Well, my response would be, don't be afraid of negative reviews online. You know, when it comes to reviews, I think there's an important concept out there that a lot of people adhere to and that I talk about. I don't necessarily trust a lot of 5s. that's just your grandma blowing happy sunshine. So I don't trust a lot of 5s. I also don't trust a lot of 1s. A lot of time when somebody throws a 1 review out there, they probably have an axe to grind. One of the suggestions I've always had when it comes to online reviews is read your 3s. Very often there is gold hidden in the 3s. The 3s are where people who've had a positive experience but had a problem, or had a problem experience but they don't want to hurt you. They're in that middle ground. So don't be afraid of negative reviews. What's more important is how do you engage with a negative review than having negative reviews in the first place. When somebody leaves a negative review, immediately go online and post, "Thank you for your comment. I will be reaching out to you personally." That's it. Don't say anything else publicly. You don't want to get into a fight or a war with somebody. You don't need to tell everybody online that the reason they're writing a negative review is you told them not to come back because they won't send your friends. That's just going to get ugly and nasty, and it doesn't help your business. Then you go back to them privately, offline, with a phone call or a text or some direct personal communication. Have the conversation you need to have with them. They can remove the review or they won't, either way, whatever. And then go back online and say, "I was really glad I had the chance to talk to Marcia and answer her questions and address her concerns. I'm glad we were able to take care of everything. Thank you all and have a nice day." Now you just look like a high-class business professional. And even if there's a negative comment out there, and what is she going to do? She's going to say, "She told me not to come back because I won't send my friends." I don't think there's too many other small business owners out there. Most people are going to applaud you. Most people are going to be impressed that you had the guts to take care of yourself and your business. So don't let it scare you. Go for it.
Love it. Then Selena wrote in, what is the best way to build clientele in a brand new small town?
What is the best way to build clientele in a brand new small town? I live in Chicago. We're the 3rd largest city in America. But I don't cut hair in the city. I'm in the burbs. But we still have over 9 million people in our metropolitan area. And what I want to tell you is a little story to answer your question. I do classes at trade shows and events all over the world every single week. And when I get done with a class, it is very common for somebody to come up to me and say, Ivan, thank you so much. That was a wonderful program. I really enjoyed your class and I really enjoyed your presentation. But Ivan, you don't understand. You're from Chicago. You don't get it. I come from a small town in Oklahoma, and it's just not like that where we live. We all work together. We all go to church together. We all go to football games together. It's just not like that where we live. I hear that from time to time. And about 3 seconds later, immediately following the exact same class, someone will come up to me and say, Ivan, oh man, I loved your program. I loved your content. I loved your information. But Ivan, you don't understand. I live in New York City, the biggest city in the world with more people and more competition. And there's a barbershop and hair salon on every block and every street. It's just not like that where I live. And what do I usually say to New York? I say, New York, hang on just 1 second. I got somebody from Oklahoma you need to talk to. Because the answer is, we're all a bunch of people. And people are people. And it really isn't any different. Obviously, in small towns, there's a greater level of connectivity. People know people. People have those closer human connections. But close human connections are what grows business and our business better than anything else. If you don't have close human connections because you're not in a small town, you're in a big city, well, you have volume. You've got millions and millions of people. I think if I had a choice between millions of people and close human connections, I would probably pick close human connections almost every time. So as a non-answer to your question, stick to the basics. Rebook the people who sit in your chair, ask for referrals from the people who sit in your chair, and sell products. One of the biggest reasons to sell product is product buyers are happy, and happy people come back and send their friends. One of the biggest reasons to sell product is not the profit you make on product, it's the relationship building that product recommendations afford you. I hope that helps.
Beautiful. Patrick wrote in, if you have a client who doesn't want to take your cards or rebook, do you ask them again the next times or every other time? Otherwise, you would have to keep track.
Patrick, you're going to be a broken record. Every customer, every haircut, every visit, every time, forever. True story. I had a guy, I will never forget this. He was driving a yellow Ford Mustang with a black convertible top. He pulled up in front of the salon, directly in front of the window in the first parking space. He got out of his Ford Mustang, walked into my shop holding a stack of 24 of my business cards. I gave him 2 cards every haircut for the last 12 haircuts. He went outside, he put them in the cup holder in his car, and he stacked them up. And one day he looked at them in the cup holder of his car and he said, well, I got to get rid of those. He picked them up and he brought them right into the shop and he handed them to me and he said, Ivan, I cleaned my cup holder. He gave me 24 cards. What did I do with those 24 cards? I put them on the top of the pile. And at the end of his haircut, I peeled off the top 2 and I handed them right back to him. I said it earlier. My job is to do my job. My job is to ask you for referrals. Your job is to do your job. Your job is to send your friends. And I get a little sick and tired of people who don't do their job. But you can't keep track of it. You're not going to know. You do it every time like a broken freaking record. Part of it is you want to make it feel like everybody is sending their friends except me. Everybody is sending. Remember the rebooking? Because people like you are sending their friends. I'm getting busier every week. When you say that, when you say Mrs. Smith, because people like you are sending their friends, if Mrs. Smith hasn't sent her friends, Mrs. Smith goes, oh crap, everybody is sending their friends and I'm the only one that's not sending their friends. I better send some friends. Pressure like that kind of works. Pressure makes diamonds.
Love it. Next one is, there has been a lot of drop off in my walk-in client stream lately, and some of my regular clients haven't been great with giving me referrals, and the ones they did send weren't such great customers. I'm just not sure how to start outreach beyond social media because I can't afford a lot of upfront advertising costs. How do I start?
Social media doesn't work. Social media does not work to build haircut traffic. So nobody's listening anymore. The algorithm, stop posting haircuts on Instagram. If you have 500 followers on Instagram, number one, Instagram doesn't show your haircut to 500 people. They show it to about 50 people. And if only those 50 people like it and comment, maybe they'll show it to a few more. But more importantly, everyone who follows you on Instagram is either already a customer or is never going to be a customer. They made a decision a long time ago whether or not they're going to let you be a part of their life and a part of their hair. So stop with the social media. It just doesn't work. Referral business is the key to building business in our business. I have another book, and I don't have a copy of it up here to hold it up for you, but I have a book called 100 by 100. It is 100 new haircut customers in 100 days guaranteed. It's a day-by-day, step-by-step plan focused on one thing and one thing only, new butts and seats. And it's all about, the core to it is this referral program, but there's lots more in there. It's a $25 book, and I bet you $25 that it works. And if it doesn't work, if you follow the book and you do what's in the program, and in 100 days you don't have 100 new customers, I will give you back your money because I know it works. It's old school. There's no school like old school. You got to remember, had my shop, 8 chairs, 24 hair cutters. As a team, we did 330 to 350 haircuts per day before the invention of social media. We didn't have any of it. I did it without it all. And if I had to do it again, I still would do it without social media. You don't need it because it doesn't work.
There you go. I have another one. I've tried raising my prices before, but got a ton of pushback from several of my regular clients. Should I only raise it for new clients, or is there a way to make everybody happy?
Oh my God, no. You can't just raise the new customers because you can't keep track of it. You don't remember who's paying what, and the whole thing gets ugly and messy. When you go up for everyone. And when you get pushback, first of all, most people don't get a lot. If you do get pushback, there is a little bit of, why am I getting pushback? Do people not see the value in what I'm offering? That may be a tough look in the mirror. You may need to ask a few questions of a few customers, but not too many. Maybe some of the ones that you didn't expect to get the pushback from. But at the end of the day, you raise your prices and you stand up straight and tall. Push your shoulders back, push your chest out, get your chin high, look them straight in the eye and smile. Now, occasionally, if you have to engage with a customer, you look them in the eye and you say, do you want to get a raise at work? Because they don't understand, many times, don't expect them to understand. It is not a client's responsibility to understand the way compensation works in the beauty and barber business. And the truth of the matter is they don't. They don't understand commission. They don't understand chair rent. They don't understand the way we operate 1099, W-2, and all the good things. They don't. They just don't know. They have a job and they punch a clock, or they're on a salary and they're a lawyer and they bill hourly or whatever, but they just don't know what we do. Don't expect them to. But sometimes you got to connect the dots for them. I have found that when someone argues, and if your price, if you went up 10%, and I generally do not advocate price increases greater than 10%. You go up a little bit at a time. One of the challenges we've had post-pandemic is some people got some pushback because they got a little too aggressive. Somebody who was $24 decided to be $38. I may not push back. I just may not come back. Okay. The bite was too big. If you were $24, you go up 10%, that's $240. You're going up to $27.50, round it off, make it $28. If you were 24 and you go to 28, you're not going to get pushback. If you do get pushback, that's a comment maybe on your value perception. And I think that's something we can talk about and work on. But if you took too big a bite, maybe there's a little bit of push. But if you went up reasonably, one of the most common things, look them in the eye and go, well, you want to raise at work, don't you? And most of the time when you say that, people are going to go, oh, yeah, okay, I get it. And that's the end of the conversation. There shouldn't really be conversation. By the way, footnote on this, don't ever post a sign in advance of a price increase that tells somebody, as of June 23rd, I'm going to be promoted to Senior Executive Master Designer Level 4, and my new hair price is going to be $32. A sign like that only invites and welcomes conversation. And there are clients who consider a price increase a negative, and you don't want to have negative conversations. All you do is you pick a price, you pick a day, and on a day you unlock the door at the new price. Don't even talk about it. When it's time to collect, that'll be $38. I thought you were 34. Yeah, I was. I'm 38 now. That's it. You don't, no excuses, no apologies, no conversation, new price. That's what they do at the grocery store with the milk. That's what they do at the gas station with the gas. That's what they do everywhere else. Why do we as an industry feel we have to either not do it or do it with an apology? Great question. Obviously, we could go back and do a whole nother day, a whole nother webinar on pricing conversations.
Oh, easily.
Anything else?
Second to last one is I run over my appointment times a lot during the holidays because everyone always wants extra this and that, but they rarely tell me beforehand. It's always when they're actually in my chair. I don't know how to fix this in a nice way.
Well, I'm a bit of a stickler for running on time. This webinar started on time. This webinar is going to end on time. We're going to get you back to business in a timely manner. An appointment is a promise. An appointment is a commitment. And an appointment is an obligation. A couple things you got to do. If you know you tend to run long, you got to gap out your appointments. You got to book a little bit longer. You got to bite the bullet on your timing, and you got to stretch just a little bit so that you can honor appointments on time, especially heading into the holiday season, especially in the wake of a price increase. One of the greatest things you could do for your customers when you raise your prices is say, I am raising my prices slightly, but I used to book on the half hour and now I'm booking on the 45 minutes in order to devote the time and the attention that is necessary to see to it that you leave here thrilled. I tell you, if you say that to a customer, you are never going to get pushback on a price increase. So do what you need to do in terms of timing to do what you need to do in terms of customer satisfaction. And at the end of the day, I know this sounds kind of harsh, and I say this all the time to people. If you can't run on time, be a walk-in professional. If you can't honor appointments on time, you shouldn't be taking an appointment. An appointment is a promise. You can't be breaking promises up and down your appointment book. Because then when you raise your price a little bit, people have a reason to leave you. You gave them a reason to leave you by not running on time.
Beautiful. And then very, very last one is Selena just asked, can you recommend the books that you mentioned earlier again?
Okay, the three we talked about, $100,000 hair cutter, that's your daily devotional to success in the business. Ivan Says, that's your mic drops, your bullets, 506 of them. 100 by 100 is 100 new haircut customers in 100 days. There's two versions of that book. There's the entrepreneur edition. If you own the business, rent a chair, or you drive the bus, if you can make all the decisions. And I have what's called the employee edition, if you work under somebody else's roof and somebody else's rules. So that book is an either or. I also have something called the Professional Haircutters Pricing Playbook. This one is a workbook. It is filled with empty spaces. When we start talking about money, we talk about the benchmarks and standards and systems of our industry. Use a pencil, plug in your numbers, work the formulas. Money decisions are not made with your gut, your heart, or your head. They're made with data, they're made with facts, and they're made with confidence. Use a pencil, because next week, next month, or next year, when the numbers change, you come back to the book, you rework the formulas, and again, you make decisions with solid information. paper, digital. This one's not available audio because of the fill in the blanks nature. IvanZoot.com for all of it. IvanZoot.com for my Talk to Ivan button if you've got questions. Everything's on the YouTube channel. If you can't find the video you're looking for, let's talk about it because I want to help you build and grow your business.
Gorgeous. And for all the other questions we did not have time to get to today, we will be sending them over to Ivan. And that way he can follow up with anything with y'all, anything for us. We are happy to email everybody in the follow-up that everybody will get about 48 hours from today, including the webinar replay. So you can rewatch this as many times as needed. And I just want to say thank you immensely again to the fantastic Ivan Zoot. You were phenomenal. And to everybody that participated in here, we will be selecting the 3 winners from this as well within the next 48 hours. And we will make sure that you will be notified via email. So for everybody, good luck. And we hope that you had a fantastic time. Thank you so much again to Ivan and everybody who engaged in the chat.
Thank you for having me here. I appreciate the invitation. I look forward to doing it again.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. See you soon. Bye.